it's so amazing because we've just been doing a whole program that's all to do with how corn and wheat and dairy, just to name a few, of the foods that people eat are extremely psychologically challenging. And it's amazing because populations of people who never had any corn or wheat, they don't have any incidence of schizophrenia. So that's so very cool. Love you, mate.
Thank you.
Okay. And we were just saying that when fungus grows in the body, like from all of the glutinous products like bleached flour, ergot is a fungus that grows on all glutinous grains, and ergotamine is a mycotoxin which lysergic acid, which is LSD, actually comes from. And if anybody knew about LSD, it's just on a very tiny small tab, and it's micro dots. It's like, maybe 25 to 50 microdots or something, or 100 microdots. And it's a very, very, very small amount, and yet it has such a marked effect on the person. Can you imagine actually if you were eating corn and dairy products and bleached flour and rye and foods like that, and funguses grew? Of course, there's 27 strains of fungus in corn. There's 26 funguses in peanuts, and many of these foods are very colonized with these microbes. And yet on live food we're only getting about 10 to 50 microbes, but on an average meal out there which has flesh in it, and certainly dairy, there can be up to 750 microorganisms, and all these microorganisms excrete mycotoxins which cause people to crave, cause people to have immune challenges, cause people to have an over-acidity of the body, cause the cholesterol to solidify in arteries, causing Raynaud's syndrome, and circulation is less than working as well as what it can. It causes incremental weight gain, or it can cause a state of cachexia, where a person's really other than able to put any weight on. It causes bipolar kinds of conditions where people can sort of be really feeling very gregarious some days or some moments, and then feeling very down other moments, which is sort of a bipolar kind of a condition. It can cause people to other than be motivated to do things because it robs dopamine from the body as well as serotonin. And so these two neurotransmitters are so very important in having a balanced life, because dopamine causes you to be able to be motivated to get things done. And serotonin is such an amazing substance which causes us to feel good. And if you've got enough serotonin, you're feeling really good and you're feeling self-sufficient. And if you've got enough dopamine, you're feeling motivated to get things done. So if you're sitting there and you're listening to the program, this information could really be very valuable to you, because you might really care to live life more abundantly, more awake, and these glutinous grains and things really act like opiates, and it's like just ingesting opium, and then a lot of the neurotoxins and things like that that's in grains and corn really do affect people like lysergic acid does. So this is really only micro dots of lysergic acid, and yet it has such a very powerful marked effect on people's behaviour. We can see people really sometimes not emotionally very stable or cognitively functioning very well. They can feel sometimes not able to kind of put things away, and so things are spread out in their apartment. They've always got papers and things and collect things, and so that's actually poor dopamine. So people often, they can do tobacco, or they can do bleached flour products and dairy, and these things stimulate dopamine for a short period of time, and whilst that is there, a person could sort of feel good for some time. But after eating those foods, carbonic acid is released at the end of the stomach, only in about 20 to 40 minutes time, and that carbonic acid really causes the person to feel a bit morose. By that time, a lot of the endogenous opiates from the milk and the grains have kicked in and cause the person to feel a bit sort of sleepy, basically. So those foods really do affect our emotion, and it's amazing because as children, between the 11th cranial nerve, which affects your eyebrows and your eye movement, all the way down to your 5th cranial nerve, which is swallowing, and your stomach and your heart response, These things really, and then your facial expression of your mouth and smiling and your eyesight. The very first thing we do as children is sort of see people smiling, but if somebody's got a celiac condition from having eaten foods like that we've been talking about, it can have really affected the cranial nerves, and it really can have less than allowed proper nerve sheathing around the cranial nerves. It's amazing because, there's a disease that's sort of become a bit popular since the 90s, and that's called a disease that comes from apparently ticks, but that's completely untrue. Lyme's disease, that organism, Bogodophora borrelii, which is a spirochete which crawls through the tissue and can crawl into organs and this sort of a thing. That organism can be found, of course, on ticks, but it also is found in the body of people who have Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, diabetes, arteriosclerotic plaque, all kinds of autoimmune conditions, including multiple sclerosis and schizophrenic kinds of conditions. We can find Bogodophora borrelii, which is an organism in the body. And it's so amazing because most people think that they actually might have had to have that inoculated from the outside. But studies do show that the myelin sheathing that's around the nerves, that insulates our nerves, breaks down into an acid-fast cell wall deficient bacteria called mycoplasma. And then that mycoplasma assembles itself into a spirochete. So when we come back, we're going to be talking a little bit more about this and how could this have affected a child's development. How could this have affected us as adults? This is Dr. David Jubb. This is The Universe Inside Our Mind. Stay tuned for some more exciting information coming up.